in closing, first of all, I want to thank the students who stuck it out through this rather lengthy hearing. Once a month, I host a breakfast for young people. It's mostly millennials. And the whole point of it is to prepare them for the day when they're going to lead. And I hope that this is one of those days where this has been instructive to each one of you who are here today in preparation for when that time comes, because it will come. Dr. Stanger, Dr. Weinstein, Mr. Langhofer, Dr. George, Dr. Harper, the members up here one day will not be here and it'll be left to you. And I think I take it as a tremendous responsibility and obligation to do all that I can to prepare you for when that day comes. So I encourage you to hear what your professors say, but dig into it yourselves. I think, I asked that they put up the First Amendment. And the thing that I want to get across to you, particularly students, I'm speaking to you now, is be prepared to defend what you believe, and particularly the Constitution. We're a constitutional republic. That means that you get to choose who comes to Congress. You get to choose whether or not you participate in that process as a representative at whatever level. One day that day will come. I want you to be prepared for that. You look at what the First Amendment says. I would argue that every aspect of that is under threat today. Your right to free speech, your right to assembly, your right to associate, the freedom of the press, and the right to petition the government. Thankfully, we haven't lost that. And also, freedom of religion. Your religion's not confined to the church house or the mosque or the synagogue. It's who you are. So exercise that. And then I believe there's a formula. I like formulas. Prior to running the think tank, Dr. George, I worked in engineering, and you know what they say about engineers. They're people who are good at math but don't have enough personality to be an accountant. I resemble that remark. But I believe there is a formula for gaining wisdom which leads to tolerance, and it's this. It's education plus experience. Education comes early, but it never ends. And experience becomes education magnified. Education experience properly gained and properly applied, contemplative and serious, coupled with critical self-reflection, Dr. George, and humility yields a sum that should reflect wisdom and tolerance. And denying students the opportunity to hear views different from their own undermines their education and limits their experience and seriously limits the growth of wisdom and tolerance. It makes that sum that you're trying to attain much more difficult. And in my years running a think tank, it might shock you if I told you some of the publications that I read regularly from the left and some of the people that I engaged in conversations. I was telling Ranking Member Raskin that, he and I don't agree on a lot of things, but I learn from listening to people who have a different opinion than mine, and it's made me immeasurably better in being able to intelligently address issues and to gain a more respectful understanding of other people's views. So that's my little closing comment to each of you as students. Thank you for being here. I thank our witnesses for appearing before us today. The hearing record will remain open for 2 weeks for any member to submit written opening statement or questions for the record. If there's no further business without objection, the subcommittee stand adjourned.